Well, I guess in the just trust us, don't ask category, Saints can clinch a playoff spot today if they win and the Bears lose. I mean, I don't know what that means, but just we trust what we hear from the NFL front office, and the Saints win with a 5-6 Bears loss to the Lions. That's how the Saints can clinch a playoff spot. James Palmer, we welcome him to game day as he's covering this game for us. He arrived I'll be honest, like an 8-year-old. There he goes. That's how my daughter would arrive, you know. And
why not?
There you go. Well done, James Palmer. Just keep yourself young anywhere you can. Well done. Good to see you, James.
That's right. Good to see you, Rich. I'd like to say I'm environmentally conscious. It's just actually a whole lot of fun to ride those things. Yes. Now, Taysom Hill is filling in for Drew Brees, looking to go to 3-0, and things have been very different for star running back Alvin Kamara with Hill at quarterback. Teammates have told me that Kamara is the most valuable player on this team. Now, 2 weeks ago against the Falcons, he was held without a catch for the first time in his NFL career. Part of that is because of Deion Jones and how talented that linebacker is. His teammates have told me he is a playmaker, not a linebacker, but also because Hill is just not really looking towards Alvin Kamara. In 2 games, he has 3 targets, 1 catch for -2 yards. Where Hill is looking, and the Falcons believe, is Michael Thomas, specifically in the play-action game. So, Irv, what has Taysom Hill done for Michael Thomas?
Well, first of all, let's just talk about this. You know, Drew Brees, when Drew Brees playing, New Orleans is running the ball under 40% of the time. Now, when Taysom Hill playing, they're running the ball almost 70% of the time. That's where a lot of those passes have been gone. They are gone to runs. But Taysom Hill does know. He knows this. When I am throwing the ball, even though I'm not throwing it that much, I'm going to throw the ball to the person that everybody knows these DBs struggle with, because you can't guard Mike. Now, let's go to Tom Pelissero.
Vikings star Adam Thielen told me he feels great after conflicting test results landed him on the COVID list last week. Now, Thielen had no symptoms. The Vikings are still not convinced he had the virus, but he had to stay away for 10 days, ended up working out at home, running sprints up a hill on his cul-de-sac. My neighbors probably thought I was crazy, Thielen said, but it was good to get out and get ready for this one. Today against the Jaguars, he'll be reunited with dynamic rookie Justin Jefferson, who needs 82 receiving yards to eclipse 1,000 in just his 12th career game. Only 4 receivers in the Super Bowl era have done that, including Vikings legend Randy Moss. Mooch, are the Vikings playoff contenders?
Boy, Tom, you know, it's going to be close. They're playing great football right now. In fact, over the last 5 games, the Vikings have the highest passer rating in the National Football League. They're playing well. I'm afraid, though, that they dug too deep of a hole. They started off 1-5, and lately they're playing great football. But I think in the NFC, you need to win 9 or 10 games. I think they win today against the Jags. Then they've got at Tampa, at New Orleans. I'm afraid that they dug too deep of a hole. They'll probably end up 8-8, so they probably won't get in. Now, for more on the Raiders and the Jets, let me send it over to East Rutherford and Kim Jones.
Thanks so much, Mooch. What a week it has been for Raiders quarterback Derek Carr. On Sunday, he and his teammates lost to Atlanta by 37 points. On Monday, Derek and Heather Carr welcomed their 4th child and first daughter to the world. Quite the range of emotions for Derek. As Derek told reporters this week, with his daughter's arrival, he didn't have to wait all week to smile. That's sweet. Now let's send it to Cynthia for more on the Raiders QB.
Okay, well, now it's time for our next-gen stat powered by AWS. This is a different type of pressure than being a 4-time dad. However, when he's under pressure, Derek Carr, we've seen a significant decrease in all of his performance metrics. I want to point out just a small uptick in pressure rate has equated to a big downtick in passer rating. Why? Because not all pressure is created equal. These have been pressures when they've been down. The game script has been negative. They've been forcing throws, so you see more interceptions. So, Kurt Warner, what will we see today against the Jets?
Well, first of all, what's the pressure for a 7-time dad? I'm just curious. You know, it's interesting. Your stats always make me think differently. And when I watch Derek Carr...
Behind those Giants. Big game for both teams, Stacey.
Sure, Rich. You know, Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz, the continued struggles, leading the NFL with 19 giveaways. Of course, the offensive line's been banged up, but this week was critical for Carson Wentz. Defensive end Brandon Graham told us on Thursday that Wentz stood up in front of the entire team and took ownership. He said the first step is admitting when you're bad, when things are bad, and that's what Wentz did. He owned the bad, and he said, this is how I want to be better. Big moment for Carson Wentz. I asked head coach Doug Peterson about it, and he said for him to stand up and take that ownership and accountability almost shows some vulnerability and growth. Yes, he needs to play better, but per source, they had an outstanding week of practice, Rich. And I expect and anticipate, because of the energy and the spirit they had this week, Carson Wentz standing up, you might see a different Eagles team here in Green Bay today.
Interesting
Rich.
Food for thought right there, Stacey Dale. Speaking of vulnerability, I mean, it's not all his fault that offensive line has been banged up. Lane Johnson out for the year, just as a for instance. I mean, Eagles fans know what I'm talking about, and offensively, it has been way off. Right. However, Kurt, it is a quarterback-driven league, and, you know, he was essentially going up in front of his team and stating the obvious. It has been really difficult to watch. Why, Kurt?
Well,
why?
There's two philosophies in the NFL playing quarterback. One is what we call pure progression. So it means look at your receiver. If your receiver's open, throw it to the receiver. If he's not, go to the next guy. There's another theory that's read the defense, right? When you see a defender, he will tell you where to throw the football. Carson's looking at guys, not defenders. We look at Bobby Wagner right here. You're going to see him carry. Man, we got everybody open on the outside. Instead, he's going to lock on one guy and go, well, I think he's open. I can make that throw. Becomes a bad throw trying to fit it into a tight window. We're going to see it again here. Locking on one receiver. Here we should be reading the free safety. Man, get to the right-hand side. You've got your seam coming down the middle. He gets locked on a receiver. I think I can make that throw. Now I got to throw it into the ground. So, to me, the theory is you got to allow the defense. Look at the defense. Let the defense tell you where to throw it and react that way. But there's philosophies in the NFL that just says, hey, if you think you can make that throw and that guy's open, give it a shot. That's where he's struggling right now.
Well, good for Carson Wentz if you want to look for positives. This is going to be the only time we touch on this subject in the whole show. Hold on a minute. I'm being told that's not the case. I'm being told there's almost a whole 4 hours left. Okay. That's later on. Look at the Titans missed. Can you imagine Derrick Henry coming out of that? It would be like a horror movie. You know? Like
out of nowhere.
Like Sleepy Hollow. My gosh. Well, at any rate, the Browns at 8-3. Since being reconstituted in Cleveland, Browns fans have not seen anything like this.
Dilly, this is the pit of misery.
He fumbled the ball. And that's an ugly sign. Dropped the ball again. 0-16. It's as bad as you get.
It's time to do our thing instead of talking about it.
Hey, pound this rock. Chubb running right. He's driving to the goal line, and he's in. Touchdown, Nick Chubb. Here's Hunt skipping right side. He's going to go in. Touchdown.
This defense is ascending.
Myles Garrett got him. Hell yeah. Pick 6 to the house for the Browns. What do we do, baby? Browns defense does it again. For the land, baby. This is getting to be fun.
8-3 versus 8-3 in Tennessee. Take it away, Jane Slater.
Rich, we are talking playoff hopes for the Cleveland Browns, something long-suffering fans haven't experienced since 2002. In fact, they are off to their best 11-game start since 1994, and giving them the best chance against this Titans offense is their pass-rushing beast, Myles Garrett, and he's got some fresh legs this week. He spent 2 weeks on the COVID IR list, and on him, Derrick Henry said he's a game wrecker. Titans head coach Mike Vrabel said he reminds him so much of a guy a lot of people might know in this league, Simeon Rice. But it's unclear how much we're going to actually see Ryan Tannehill passing this thing. As we've talked all morning, Rich, this is a game that's going to rely heavily on the run game. Rich?
Well, a game has an SEC feel in the NFC, AFC South and North. You bet. We've seen these two face off in the SEC, Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb back in 2015. Henry had 148 yards in a score, Chubb 146 yards in a score. Henry's team won 38-10 that day, and Derrick went on to win the Heisman Trophy and the national championship. Running backs, about the running game this game, Steve.
All right, well, 8-3, Irv. Yeah. Cleveland Browns against the 8-3. I hope that fog sticks around for a while. That'll be fun to watch. All right, two run teams. Who has the better backfield?
Coach, listen, I love what Chubb and Hunt does. But for me, this thing's about moments and results. Now, the results, Chubb, and Henry gives you that. Last week, Chubb had 144, Derrick Henry had 178. And since 2018, Chubb has 16 100 rush yard games. This man right here, he has 15. They're first and second. But the moments of what this dude gives you, the moments. Did you see what he did to that grown man named Josh Norman when he said, get out of here? That's a moment. You tell me, did you see these walk-off home runs? These are walk-off home runs. Game over. Those are moments. I love Chubb, but he doesn't have moments like Derrick Henry has. That's why I'm taking Derrick Henry.
We educate here, Rich. You have to have moments if you're a running back, all right?
Moments, but you know everybody.
These two guys right here, you know, Nick Chubb, he's second to him, right, in rushing. That guy right there, Kareem Hunt, you know what? He has led the league in rushing, too, in 2017. 161 yards for one team, 158 for the other, 2 rush. But I like 2 guys in case one guy gets a little tired from running up and down the field. Then you got Kareem Hunt to go in there and give him a blow. So, you know, this is 2 guys I've always liked, 2 capable guys. This is going to be a great game. Rich, this is going to be a great game. Let's have a moment over here.
Moments are called GCP. Will you get this right?
Come on, man. We got it. GCP.
Yes. You know what, guys? You know what, guys? You know what, guys? I think we all just had a moment. Right here. I think we all just had a moment. Hope you're having a moment. We'll be back in a moment.
GCPs.